Welcome back to JMC Live. We've been working and tinkering with what you're seeing tonight. For those of you who've been in the chat, I know I've heard a lot of you talk about this. This is the live stream Procaster. We are using the approved Microsoft LiveCam Cinema. I had to wait for the new update with Procaster to use Windows 7 in my specific computer, and that's the reason why it's finally starting kind of work, because before the older programs would just crash because I didn't have whatever it was that they wanted. I said at the break that I was going to do this. We're going to talk about the State of the Union and any other questions about anything, and then we're going to finish up talking about how we're trying to help someone, because while what's going on in the world is great, it's not so great with some of the things that are happening that I see. So without further ado, here is the State of the Union. I'm not going to play the speech.
No, it's like an hour and
this
something
is,
long.
I think, Huffington Post. And yeah, it's like an hour and a half long.
I never heard a president's speech that long of State of the Union address.
There was just so much he had to cover. He wants to work with the people. He wants to work in other countries. He wants to make sure where we can go to school. And just like anyone else, you realize more than likely he may not even written this on the speech.
Like you said, it sounded like a Republican had written it, not
I
a
mean,
Democrat.
some of it had a Republican feel, some of it had a Democrat feel, other parts had a communist feel, and it's still. I just didn't know why I had taken an hour and a half. That was the biggest really weird thing.
Well, he also talked about the shooting in Tucson.
Yeah, trying to connect the shooting in Tucson, which is really bad. That should be a big eye-opener. A lot of people are asking me about that again. What do I think? And I'm just scrolling through this. I really don't have a lot I want to say about it, because it doesn't sound much different than anything I've heard before.
Well, what's the difference between that guy trying to go kill this congresswoman compared to the people in Egypt rioting and trying to kill their leaders? If you think about it, they want change. Mm-hmm. But yes, this man was demonically insane, as they found out when they went to his home and investigated his house. But, I mean, is it any different? Do you really think it's any different between that guy and the protesters? I mean, I'm really throwing that out there to make people think. I'm not trying to say he is the same. I'm not saying he's, had a right to go shoot this woman in the head, but, I mean, do you think his frustrations could have been similar to the congresswoman?
I don't even want to I'm going to stay on topic with the State of the Union and not talk about that, because I already did that, and that's not where I'm going. Anyway,
but I just had a thought.
This Sputnik moment. Now, for those of you that are trying to wonder about what is this about, we're talking about the satellite space race. Russia got there first, and I guess he's trying to say that we'll be the first to get a lot. Well, I'm going to say something really stupid. Our Sputnik moment is we're the first country to spend the most amount of money.
That's pretty much right.
I mean, if you don't have a brain, I mean, that's what you would probably think he means. But no, he's talking about technology, and I think he even mentioned something about
mostly
Facebook.
Green jobs. As he talked about creating jobs. He wanted to create clean.
See, I don't have a problem with green jobs. It's just that everything's going to cost more. All these things that we need to do are going to cost more. Just like the space program. People didn't talk about how much that cost.
Oh, and they're increasing their spending.
That's why there isn't a new spaceship, because they're just now paying off some of the old spaceships.
Yeah.
He did say something that strikes me a lot about the education thing. Almost half the jobs require more than high school education, which is true.
It is.
In the day and age, when Twitter and Facebook first came out, you might have been in college. For me to get a job now at those places, I have to have a master's degree and some other stuff. Unless I'm just one of those savvy guru guys.
You're just special.
And you have to be really special.
That's really what it comes down to.
But what I would love to see, and you don't see many presidents do it. I don't want to hear a year in review. I've heard all that. I don't want to hear who created a problem. I want to hear what you're going to do about it. And the weird thing is, when you're a president, you're not really the one who does majority of the bill signing. You know, this president has done a lot of executive orders and created positions, but that's still not something somebody's going to talk about. So it's going to be quite interesting to see what American people, because they're putting the challenge on Democrats. They're even putting the challenge on Republicans. In 2012, we already know there's a lot of Democrats that are going to get the boot, and there's Republicans that are going to get the boot. And it makes you wonder, are they going to pick a different party? Or what? It's going to get really, really, really scary, I believe. I think it's nuts. But it's so kind of worth it. Now, I promised everyone that we would do this, and I would do this right. We're transforming gears towards something that really strikes me hard. And,
yeah. So we're done talking about the State of the Union address?
Yeah, we're done with that.
Okay.
I'm just not even... I'm not impressed, you know.
Have we ever been?
Yeah.
When were you impressed with President Obama?
When he got a Facebook and a Twitter page. That was the only You know, I was impressed. Someone finally, you know...
Wow.
I was impressed.
That was the only time, huh?
Yeah, pretty much.
Okay, there you go.
I've been impressed by a lot of things.
Well, at least he did impress you in some way.
Yeah, I've been impressed. I just got an email from him today about help me do something in Frankfurt and donate to me so I can be donated to. I was like, okay, that's great.
All right, so we're going to transition to something very serious that
yeah,
we've
this
been
is
dealing
quite
with.
serious. For those of you that have wondered, we at JMC Ministries, we don't ask you for your money.
No.
And you're kind of wondering, well, it looks like you're asking for money now. I'm like, yes, we are.
But not for us.
But not for us. And not for ministry. The only time I ever raised money was when I went to Africa, when I was homeless. And I've seen ministries come and go. And I've seen people do different things. And I have to ask you a question as you see this finally load. What do you do when you are living in a house or apartment and you can't pay your bills? And to even push it even further, for those of you that like Matt Mayer's Hold This Together.
I also think it also can't find a job.
And you get order for entry of judgment with issuance from the county court judge. And it's a letter of writ for restitution. You owe so much in rent. And as of such and such date, if you are not out, the police or sheriff department or however it's worked in your area will come to your house, whether you're home or not, and will either place all your stuff on the curb or they will throw it away. Throw it away. Now, without judging someone for whether or not they did this to themselves or not, I have to share with you something else,
Well,
too.
I will say, in the economic crisis we are in, 9 times out of 10, I have seen, especially in where we live, Ohio is number 3 on the worst hit in the economic crisis.
Yep.
We have seen families that have had good jobs lose their jobs, get laid off, and are penniless and homeless and living in shelters. Not because they were drug addicts or made really bad decisions in life, but just simply because they were let go from their job.
Yep.
And there are no jobs. I mean, the unemployment rate here in Ross County alone in Ohio is 12 point something %. And as you go farther south
It's almost in the 20%.
I'm going to show you something else. Now, the friend that we are helping is in Fort Collins, Colorado. And you can look this up yourself. Fort Collins, Colorado weather. They are a crisp and clear 42.9 degrees Fahrenheit. And Friday it'll be 63 to 30. Saturday 54 to 22. Sunday 47 to 22. And what if I told you Monday is the day, it's the cutoff day, when they're going to get evicted? And it's going to be 34 degrees with a chance of snow, 50%, and a low of 2 degrees. And what if I told you the day after you were going to be evicted, your high was going to be 11 degrees, and your low was going to be a negative 1 degrees. Now, me being ex-Coast Guard, I was told that it only takes below zero 15 minutes to die. In negative 1 degrees, outside for an hour, if you can last that long, hypothermia will kick in, and you will probably die. We are at, and that's going to be the next thing I'm going to check. They were behind a couple of months' rent, and the landlord was really nice, so I'm not mad at the landlord. I'm not going to say any problems about the landlord. This isn't a matter of the landlord or not. It's a matter of who is involved. So I've known about this for a while, and I have some other friends that are involved in similar situations. And finally, they came to me saying, we need help. That was about 72 hours ago. And on the 26th, about 11:16 p.m., after asking, after various, fees from PayPal, because I have a PayPal account, we got $273.82. I said I'd give roughly around $100 to cover the PayPal expenses. Then again, about 1 p.m. yesterday, it went up to $326.32. Now these are my PayPal accounts. As you see, I've blocked out people's names, so you just didn't know who gave. Avalon apparently has their own small account, and it's not blown up, but if you could read these two numbers over here, it would say $489.61 after PayPal fees, so that's roughly around $800
between our donation account and her donation account.
This was as of 7:30 tonight, $422.82, and several people have done anywhere from $10 to $50 each. PayPal about $50, takes out $1.75. I don't even think I got $25 in fees yet to pay. So I still have like $75 that's actually going to go in her pocket. So my question to you again.
You haven't stated how much money she needs.
Monday it'll be 34 degrees, low of 2, and Tuesday it'll be negative 1 degrees in the evening. This is Fort Collins weather. You can look it up somewhere else. It is subject to change. That is over 3 days away. We know the snow may come, it may not come. That's not the issue. The issue is, what if this was your family? What if this was someone you actually knew? Now, I had someone give me the argument, well, we don't really know what's going on, or I just don't have any money. For those of you that are familiar with last month, when we helped a family in need, we challenged everyone 20 cents. Just 20 cents is all I would like to see someone donate. And as of last month, we helped the family.
We raised $200.
Over $200, and then all these different people. We're doing this stuff. So right now we have over $1,100, and we need $2,300. So all I need is $1,300.
And the money that we raised last month for the family in need in West Virginia, the $200, that was raised in less than 24 hours.
Yeah,
and it was raised in the middle of the night.
Yep.
The online community of our friends and friends of our friends came through between Twitter, Facebook, MySpace, and we raised over $200 in less than 24 hours for this family.
Yep.
We're putting. We also.
Well,
we always
someone's
put
about
up,
to leave, so they want to know. They need some information on who Avalon is. So I got to do this real quick. Sorry for cutting you off. For those of you who want to know who Avalon is, Avalon actually has a testimony, and she has been interviewed on our show. She's been involved in various different things in her life, and the Lord revealed Himself to a big way. Avalon has been involved in the occult, been involved in various other things as well. There's a 6-part interview you can listen to. If you want to know anything about Avalon, you can start there. If you're on my Facebook, you can add her and ask her questions. All the information is blatantly open. There's the writ of restitution from her landlord, so we know there's actually a legitimate need for rent. Her husband, is pretty much a self-employed guy. They don't have transportation, so that's why the situation is as bad as it is. If the money is not raised up to the total amount, they'll use what they can to try and get into another low-income home, or they'll try and stay where they're at. Either way, they're going to get help. And I believe that we can raise this other $1,300 between tonight or tomorrow. And I know a lot of people probably don't want to take the time to listen to all 6 parts, but she was involved in the occult, psychic, witchcraft stuff for like 20 years. She's become a Christian. She's become a licensed minister and has spoke at church in Colorado about her stuff. Her sister's involved in the ministry as well. And if you guys want to actually watch a video of her, you can, so you can see what she looks like. Lamp of Truth Ministries actually has the First Baptist Church First Baptist Church in Fort Collins, Colorado, April 8th, 2009, where she talks about her life in the occult and where she's at with Christ. So this isn't just somebody. This is another person that's in the body of Christ.
We don't just.
And I don't want to just say I just help people that are Christians, because I don't. But the one thing I've noticed about Christians and non-Christians, Christians aren't afraid to ask for help. I've ran into a lot of situations where non-Christians will go and get help from the world, or they don't get help at all. I have a friend right now who needs help, and they're not taking my help, and they're going to be evicted in less than 10 days too. So I don't know. Some people have a lot of pride. Maybe they did do something wrong. Maybe they didn't.
Maybe they feel like they don't deserve the help.
And to be very transparent, our situation, I'm not sitting here being some kind of rich kind of guy, and I'm just trying to do what I can. My wife is sick. I'm going to school, so I'm just like an average person.
We're not rich.
And I'm not taking any of this money for myself. As I said again.
But the Lord provides. But the Lord provides our needs so that we are able to help others, and we continue, even though we struggle, we still give our tithe and offering every month. But our tithe and offering, as many see, goes to help the body of Christ.
Exactly.
Help people.
We don't always just give money to a church. And although if you're in a regular church where you do that, that's fine.
And we do give to churches, but we also give. We give to charities. We give to ministries. We give to homeless shelters. We give to people in need, just like Avalon and the other family we helped last month. We help our family. We give donations to we have family that are struggling. We help them, and that is our tithe and offering to the Lord. We received, when we give
tithe and offering to a church last year, they sent us a form saying, well, you can get a tax refund.
Yep.
Do this on your taxes. You know what I did? I took a piece of paper, I tore it up and threw it in the trash. I said, I don't need a kickback. That's wrong to try to get a kickback from the government because I gave tithe and offering to a church. I tore it up and threw it away. I didn't even think twice about trying to try to get that kickback. I didn't.
So here's the thing. Yeah, it's not a tax write-off. All this is I'm a human being seeing another human being in need. And you're going to tell me, and I've had people tell me this during this whole event, last 72 hours, you don't have a tax thing, so I can't do it. I understand the ethical reasoning for needing that.
Yes.
Because you want all your money to not be taxed. And you want all of your dollar to not be taxed.
Yeah.
I understand the logic in that. But if I have a dollar and I'm giving it to someone else, it's not being taxed.
Exactly.
It's going to be taxed on whatever they're doing, which is paying for rent. So, I don't need it. Yeah, when I get to the point when I'm working with some other ministries, yes, they have nonprofits because they're doing homeless shelter stuff. So they have to have a food license. They have to have this and they have to have that. But still, at the same time, if I see a guy on the street who needs a sandwich, I'm not going to go get a food license to give him a freaking sandwich. I'll just give him a sandwich.
Yeah, take him to a restaurant and give him a sandwich.
When too many people fail to realize, first of all, you need to ask for help. Honestly, the body of Christ has more money than what most people realize. But how you spend your money is the biggest concern of all. Because if a Christian honestly does the walk through faith in Jesus Christ commandment of being a living sacrifice, if I take my cup of money and I give it to someone else, I'm going to give till it hurts. I'm not saying give me your money to where you can't pay your rent. Because I have friends right now that are on food stamps and Social Security, or they just got laid off. I'm not talking to people who can do that. But then again, as Tim says, and I just reposted it, the story of the two mites.
Mm-hmm.
Jesus said the woman who gave the 2 mites, and that was all of her money. Apparently she just, I would assume, got food, and maybe this is something she saved for 12 months, or maybe for the whole month, and she gave what she had left. God is not incompetent enough to not understand that you need to pay your bills. Huh? So what we're going to do is I've already posted the link in the chat.
And we'll post it in the podcast.
And we'll post it in the podcast of jmcministries.webs.com. And we removed our PayPal link higher up. So therefore, if you want to donate that way, that's fine. If you don't like PayPal, and I understand that, and I'm in the process of probably switching over to a more Christian friendly site, you can also mail something. You can email something. And if you
how would
guys,
they email something?
If you guys can connect with any friends that you know that are in Colorado. Fort Collins is not a really, really small town or anything like that. So there are options. And like I said, if you can't give, you can do the simplest thing. It's if you got Facebook and MySpace and all that stuff, you can post, hey, I know this guy who's legitimate, who's trying to legitimately help someone else. Here's how you do it. That's all you got to do. And you've done what God's called you to do. Some of you are supposed to actually give. And you know what? You're probably not going to hear me move around in these crazy different ways, because if you see what's happening. But I have to tell you, we're going to have to take a break. And this is going to be a quick break just for a podcast moment. We'll take a quick break and we'll be right back.